Hey guys, it's Thor here with another edition of This Week on Blu-ray, DVD, and On Demand. Join me, won't you? We've got 4 titles to talk about today, and we start with a massive one. It was a huge box office sensation. We're talking about the first standalone Star Wars story, the first of many, Rogue One, and the mission comes home. Man, they did so many things right in this film. They've got a diverse cast. They went back to tell the story of how the rebels stole the plans for the Death Star. So pre A New Hope, so it's got that great sort of vintage feel about it. It wasn't crammed with too many gimmicks or, you know, sort of kid-friendly gags. I do like those elements in the Star Wars franchise, and I think there's a lot of room for humor. But what I think they did brilliantly here was craft a sort of war spy-type movie that was a little bit more aimed at the adults and the generation that grew up on the original Star Wars from the late 70s. You see Felicity Huffman there, Felicity Jones, I should say, front and center there, leading the way with a great cast that includes Mads Mikkelsen, Forrest Whitaker, Diego Luna, and Alan Tudyk as the droid there. He was sensational. So I watched the bonus features last night on the Blu-ray, and they are great. Basically, you want to hit play all. You get over an hour of behind-the-scenes footage right from the inception of how this idea came to fruition. Looks at all the characters, some of our favorites in there as well. The look of Rogue One and that interesting merging of technology they did with a couple of characters who I won't name because if you haven't seen it yet, it may be a bit of a surprise. And Rogue Connection's a great little 4-minute piece that looks at all the uncovered Easter eggs and sort of neat little hints and trivia facts about the movie itself. There's some things that you may have missed, but this is from Gareth Edwards, who gave us Godzilla and Monsters, and he was basically not so much hand-picked, but they definitely saw that he was a cinematic auteur director who had a big passion for Star Wars. That was ultimately why he got chosen. So there you go. Collect it now. Rogue One on Blu-ray, DVD, and HD. Moving on, Office Christmas Party. I gotta say, this passed me by in the theater, so I gave it a whirl on Blu-ray, and I was delightfully surprised. This movie's very funny, and it's not always that raunchy, but it's just got some great gags, courtesy of a committed cast led by Jennifer Aniston, Jason Bateman, and T.J. Miller. So what happens is she's an overbearing CEO, and she decides to close down the her hard-partying brother's failing branch. So he kind of gets the co-workers fired up. They have one last-ditch effort to save the company, so they throw an epic office party to try and land a big client played by Courtney B. Vance, and things quickly spiral out of control. Now, what it has going for it is a tremendous cast. I mean, you see them all here in this one scene. Then you've also got Rob Corddry, Jillian Bell, Vanessa Bayer from Saturday Night Live, Fortune Feimister, who's awesome in The Mindy Project and Life in Pieces, and of course Courtney B. Vance. So there's a lot of clout here, and they're all interacting. Olivia Munn there as well. They're all interacting so well together. I actually thought the gags were decent. It's about 20 minutes too long. They sort of have this subplot that involves T.J. Miller getting kidnapped by a pimp played by Jillian Bell. That gets a little tiresome, but the setup is great. They get right into the party antics, and when things get out of control, it's laugh out loud hilarious in some parts. And the Blu-ray includes the unrated version that you didn't see in theaters as well, so you can check that out. It's a couple minutes longer than the theatrical release, but you know what? I really dug this movie. It was a lot of fun. Let's move on. In a perfect world, this movie would have nabbed all of the Oscars. Patterson, with Adam Driver in a career best performance, and this is from contemporary genius Jim Jarmusch, who's known for his great contributions to American film, and this is just another amazing notch in his belt. Basically, Adam Driver plays a bus driver named Patterson in the city of Paterson, New Jersey, and every day he does the same route. He basically has the same routine. He listens to all these fragments of conversations that swirl around him, and he walks his dog. He goes to the same bar. He has one drink, and he writes poetry in this little book that he keeps, and the poetry is kind of read aloud by himself in character throughout the movie, and you see like actual text of the poems on screen. This is kind of one of those movies that doesn't have a major thrusting plot. It doesn't build to a big climax or anything like that. It's just a thinking person's movie, and it's very unapologetic in how slow it is, but it's a great character examination and just one of those kind of great little vignettes that is a slice of life. And Jim Jarmusch is so good at doing that with these kind of modern American stories. We saw it, of course, in Only Lovers Left Alive with Tilda Swinton and Tom Hiddleston, but This is just another brilliant film, and you really have to watch it a couple of times to let it all soak in. There's a lot going on underneath the surface. And Adam Driver, again, just gives an astounding performance here. It's sort of the quiet triumphs and defeats of daily life observed all through the eyes of this bus driver. So a very quiet, meditative film. Definitely one for the adults, but it's so refreshing and so original. Absolutely love this one, and it kind of got overshadowed by a lot of other big releases last year. So check it out if you can right now on the Blu-ray or the DVD. Patterson, what a gem. All right, and we'll leave you with this, something from the TV realm, The Good Wife. And this is one for all you collectors out there. The complete series is now out on DVD. Juliana Margulies leading the way. I fell in love with this show right from the get-go. She's a wife and a mother who assumes full responsibility for her family and re-enters the workforce after her husband's very public sex and political corruption scandal lands him in jail. This was one for the ages, people. 7 seasons on 42 discs. You've got, of course, Margulies leading the way. What a sensational cast. Christine Baranski, Josh Charles, Chris Noth, Alan Cumming, and then the guest stars as well were unprecedented. Carrie Preston, Martha Plimpton, Michael J. Fox, Rita Wilson, Elizabeth Reeser, America Ferrera, and many, many more. I loved every season. Some of them weren't as strong as others, but I thought it ended on a great note. And what I loved about The Good Wife, it always brilliantly balanced an episodic format where they would take on different court cases with the overall issues that were going on in her life with her family and her husband's sort of political scandal and the corruption following him through every season and how they embroiled with that. But the way the writers were able to balance those two sentiments and keep you engaged week after week, I thought was absolutely brilliant. One of the best primetime dramas ever created. The Good Wife right now, the complete series. Get it now.
She's thinking of running for state senate. And she wants
there you have it, people. That'll do this week. I am Thor Diekow. You can check me on social. @Thor Diekow is the handle. I'm on Twitter, Instagram. Drop me a line. Let me know what you thought of these titles. We'll see you next week on breakfasttelevision.ca.